Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ari, and hopefully you'll stick around for what might be a little bit of a longer video. So as you've probably guessed from the title, this video is going to get a little political. If that's not something you're interested in watching, I really advise you to kind of click away now, because there will be people who will be offended by what I have to say. As a trans woman, these, LGBTQ rights are not simply a political issue. They're also something incredibly personal. So hopefully I won't alienate any of the people who watch this channel, but if I do, I'm sorry, that's just a risk that I have to take. So why talk about this at all if I risk alienating some of my viewers? Well, the simple reason is that I believe these are important issues. Our civil rights aren't just a side issue. The systemic transphobia within our government also leads to a culture in the public that contributes to the violence that we've seen against trans women. In 2017, 28 trans women were murdered. And that number itself may not be fully accurate, because a lot of times trans women, trans people in general, are misreported in the news or in police reports. They're misgendered. Family may be ashamed and not want people to know, so they don't properly report the person's gender identity. So far, and we're only in February, this year, 2018, has already given us 3 trans murders. A lot of those, of the 28, as well as the 3 from this year, are trans women of color. What brought all this to mind was a posting that I saw in an online forum that I'm a member of. The original post was very much so pro-Trump. Among referring to people who were opposed to Trump as snowflakes, it also made the statement that those who are resisting Trump don't even know why they're resisting. So I responded that as a trans woman, I knew exactly why it was I was opposed to this administration, and that was because of their record of anti-LGBTQ positions. So if you want to look at some of the facts that I'm going to bring up in the video, I really encourage you to go to the National Center for Transgender Equality's website. They have a section called the Discrimination Administration that outlines all of this, and that's a big part of what I'll be using as we're going through the video. I'll provide a link in the description box. It's a great website, not just on this, but on other issues. So I really encourage you to visit and see what they have to say. February the 22nd, like a month into the administration, they withdrew the Obama-era guidance that protected school kids in public schools, trans kids, and gave them access to the proper facilities. On March the 2nd, the Department of Justice gave up on the lawsuit that they were pursuing against North Carolina for its anti-transgender bathroom bill. On March the 8th, the Department of Health and Human Services eliminated questions on their survey, a survey that they use to evaluate their programs and how it's helping people who are in need. They eliminated any questions related to someone's status as being LGBT. On March the 10th, HUD withdrew a proposed policy that would have helped LGBT people who were dealing with homelessness. On March the 28th, the Census Bureau retracted a proposed policy that would have collected information regarding someone's LGBT status for the 2020 census. Also in March, HUD removed links from its website that helped emergency shelters with best practices for how to properly accommodate transgender people seeking help. In May, the Department of Health and Human Services basically stripped away provisions within the Affordable Care Act that protected trans people in medical care. In July, the Justice Department filed a brief with the Circuit Court claiming that the 1964 Civil Rights Act did not apply to gender identity, and therefore there would be no protections based on that act to protect transgender individuals. At the end of July, President Trump made his now famous Twitter announcement that transgender people would no longer be welcome in the United States military. That has since met a great deal of roadblocks along the way, and thankfully a lot of courts have kind of blocked that from taking place. But it's something that the Trump administration continues to fight. On September the 7th, the Justice Department filed a brief on behalf of the United States before the Supreme Court, arguing that businesses had the right to discriminate against people based on their status of being LGBT, as long as they claimed a religious exemption. In October, the Justice Department released a memo to attorneys within the Justice Department instructing them to take the position that federal law does not cover or protect transgender individuals. In October, the Justice Department released a license to discriminate type of policy within federal agencies. This allowed federal agencies themselves to discriminate against LGBT people as long as the person doing the discriminating claimed a religious objection. It also extended to federal contractors. And finally, in January of this year, the Department of Health and Human Services opened its own commission within the department to promote and defend the ability of healthcare providers to discriminate against LGBT people if they claimed a religious or moral objection. Sadly, guys, the list that I just gave you doesn't even include everything that this administration has been involved in as far as anti-LGBT actions. They've been close buddies with religious right extremists who, among other things, have called for the criminalization of homosexuality. That doesn't even include the fact that Donald Trump, who said during his campaign that he would be the best for LGBT people, failed to even include a resolution naming June as Gay Pride Month. Now, guys, I have no dedication to any particular political party. I look at the issues and I look at the people, but I can't ignore LGBT issues as a transgender person. And part of why I wanted to bring this up is I'm really getting tired of people who claim to be allies but still religiously support Donald Trump. If you're going to be an ally is not simply your words, it's also your actions. If you claim to be an ally of the LGBT community, I would ask that you remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Okay, guys, that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to click the subscribe button to join us for more videos. Of course, if you found the information today interesting, make sure you take a moment to check on the website of the National Center for Transgender Equality for more details. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you guys later. Ending with my quote from Kesha, "Don't let the bastards get you down. Hold your head up high, be proud of who you are, and yes, resist." Bye-bye.